So, hi, Duncan. Thanks for joining us today. Do you want to first of all just kind of tell us who you are?
Yeah. My name's Duncan Roberts. I'm a director of a training and development consultancy called Brightstone Solutions. And we've been working with you guys for best part of 3 years now.
Brilliant. And so obviously I've worked with you closely over the last 3 years, Duncan. So what made you choose us as your training provider?
Okay. So we were commissioned by Helping Hands to look at their training and development strategy and predominantly looking at how best to utilize their levy and developing a training or a set of training programs that meet industry requirements, but also was going to add value to their mechanisms. Prior to 2022, their strategy had been a little bit ad hoc and chaotic. It had been led by a multitude of individuals, both from a learning and development perspective, but also from individual relationships with specific training providers. There wasn't national coverage. There wasn't any real overarching strategy as to why they would be using or how they would be using their levy. And really, no one could really answer why they were doing what they were doing off the back of it. I think I want to stress now that Brightstone had no real specific background with regards to the sector. We're a very broad-ranging training and development consultancy. So my first starting point was to go out and ask associates that I had trusted over the many years that I've been doing this. Was the main one that came back to say, you need to go and have a conversation with them about this because they're growing. They're bringing new ways of working to the sector, which have been very well received, and there seemed to be a good fit to the requirements that you're particularly looking for from a Helping Hands perspective. So that's what I did. I had 2 or 3 conversations with you guys, and I really liked what you were saying, how you were structuring it. The desire for quality over starts was a key aspect of it, and felt really, really confident that and comfortable that we could start having some proper conversations with the client about how that developed. And those conversations probably took place over best part of 6 to 9 months. There was no pressure or application to get numbers straight away. It was about getting things properly set out and an understanding as to what a true partnership looked like. That relationship started mid-2022, and we're still developing, I like to say, Paul, with regards to that, because there is no partnership that is perfect from word go. We work very, very hard, both Helping Hands and yourselves, to understand what the key drivers are with regards to the programs, what the critical performance indicators are for both sets of organizations, because it is a true working partnership. And 3 years into that, I don't think we'd ever get to there's a much better understanding about what is required by all parties around the table, and that willingness to have what would possibly be quite difficult conversations about achievement rates, about numbers of starts, completion rates, etc., are now much more comfortable around the table. So we're all working to the same hymn sheet with regards to that. So yeah, that's why we chose you. And we're very pleased at this moment in time that we're continuing to work with you moving forward.
That's brilliant. And do you think it's important that we are entirely focused on health and social care? Do you think that gives extra value to supporting the organisations?
Well, as I said, from a Brightstone perspective, we're very broad. It makes my clients feel very, very assured, your sector specialism, that you know what you're talking about, that you know that you can bring to the table good practice, bad practice, developing practice as to what works, what doesn't work. There is a realization, though, from you guys that everybody is different. Each organization works in their different ways, and Helping Hands certainly has some uniqueness with regards to that. I don't think I've ever been in a conversation where you've turned around and said, no, this is one size fits. So off with that, and that's how we're doing it. There's always discussion and collaboration as to how to try and solve problems, how to make sure that the learning experience for our learners is the best that it possibly can be. There's a realization and a realism as to what's actually achievable and how you can move that forward. But what we've worked really hard at, and I hope you agree with regards to this, Paul, is that level of management information, that level of communication, the amount of meetings that we have, which sometimes might seem quite repetitive at certain points, but they're good practice. They're good habits to have, that even if we haven't got millions of things to talk about, we meet on a regular basis to have those conversations and making sure on the finer detail. It might only be one or two learners that are causing concerns out of a cohort 200, but those learners matter, and therefore we get them through that process.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's really important that we understand the pressures and realities of the sector. So I think that really helps with our relationship and our partnership. So as we move forward, Duncan, what excites you about continuing our partnership?
Well, I don't think I would be unfair to say that we've learned a lot over the last 2.5, 3 years with regards to what works, what doesn't work, what even geographical locations within the Helping Hands network, what works and what doesn't work. I think we're a lot clearer as a group as to what the strategy is moving forward with regards to what we talked about and are implementing with regards to cohorts and level 5 provision, understanding each individual branch's requirements at level 2. And I'm excited about having a much clearer strategy, which is easier to communicate to Helping Hands network, good working relationships with tutors and trainers, so that there's actually that personalization that's coming into the delivery moving forward over the next couple of years, and that people are able to understand the little nuances of having a working relationship with Helping Hands as to what works and what doesn't. We've got some really exciting plans over the next 2 or 3 years with regards to rollout and making sure that this fits key strategies help moving forward with Helping Hands. We've never been that confident in making the levy at the center of our training and development strategy. What this relationship has allowed us to do is to say, do you know what? As long as the levy stays, we've got a tool and a partner to be able to move forward with what we actually need and require for the next 2-3 years.
Brilliant, thank you. And then as we also kind of look into the future as well, what do you see is the value of having trained professionals, whether that's in the healthcare sector or the wider sectors?
Yeah, your main entity is your people. If you're not willing to train and develop your main asset, then you're going to get left behind. We expect the best. Our customers expect the best out of that process. So we have to make sure that our staff are the best that they possibly can. If we're not willing to train, that's the one thing that really differentiates from one customer to another. And we're all in business to make sure that we offer the best service that we possibly can. We can give our staff the best tools to move forward with, and that's on the basis of that of those set qualifications, and be able to actually hang our hat and coat on the fact that we know we've trained our people to the best of our ability, to the best of their ability. It's the only way that you can move forward as a business. You can't rely upon other entities unless you make sure that your staff are fully trained and moving forward.
Yeah, thank you, Duncan. I think that really helps towards retention and resilience as well within the workforce as well. Okay, thank you.